Hello there, my very good friends. It's the afternoon news video, and a major AEW name has been fired.
And AEW stars bemoans feeling like a ghost backstage.
We're going to talk about that fan hopping the guardrail and Grayson Waller and all that stuff.
And backstage plans for Randy Orton in WWE have been revealed. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the After News.
Yes. We're going to talk first of all about a major AEW name that's been fired.
MJF.
Kevin Sullivan.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Before we dive into this, a lot of people get confused. It's not Kevin Sullivan the wrestler.
Not that one, yeah.
It's not the Dungeon of Doom guy. Don't worry, it's not him. But it's Kevin Sullivan, who is AEW's Vice President of Post-Production. He'd been with AEW since 2019, handling a bunch of production stuff. So this is a major departure from the promotion. It was Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer / Figure 4 Online who reported this. Sullivan let go by the Tony Khan-helmed promotion, and the call was made by Mike Mansouri, who is formerly of WWE and is AEW's Senior Vice President and Co-Executive Producer. So Sullivan was effectively a day one AEW employee, played a prominent role in production since day one, near enough. Meltzer writes that I've accidentally gone onto YouTube. Sorry, audio people, you'll have no idea what I'm talking about. But he writes that Sullivan was very highly thought of in AEW. Before AEW had been in Impact for 14 years. Major questions are being asked about the situation because nobody really knows what's happened here. He was responsible for putting together the entire post-production team in AEW, which is based out of Nashville. Currently, there's no word on what has happened to prompt this, but he is gone. So David Penzer, who is the Impact Wrestling ring announcer, has actually clarified some details on this. He was responding to Sean Ross Sapp on X. I'll just read the tweet. Just a point of clarity, Kevin is VP of post-production, which means he runs the studio in Nashville that edits Rampage, does packages for TV and pay-per-view, promo ads, etc. Those who think their live production is lacking, this move wouldn't change anything in that regard. So that's an interesting facet of this, because AEW's production, for a lot of people, myself included, I don't think it's great.
Doesn't help when they flash up the word no on screen.
It's a far cry from the old days where I think it was the original Fight for the Fallen was they just had the wrong subtitles on and it was just so weird. It's better than it was, but there are definitely constructive criticisms to be made. But it doesn't sound like this is going to change much in live production terms. But maybe some stuff with post-production. I don't know, pre-tape stuff. Either way, we don't know Kevin Sullivan. We can't really comment much on this, but what do you think?
No, it's one of those ones where it was a shock to see this break on social media. And then you're like, oh, it's not that Kevin Sullivan. And then you're thinking, well, this is completely out of the blue. What's going on here? How's this going to affect things going forward? Like you say, he's heavily involved. He's been involved since day one. But my main thought was, oh God, please don't let Tony take this job on as well.
Oh gosh.
I assume that's not going to be the case, obviously. But yeah, it's going to be one of those stories I'm going to keep an eye on going forward, because I feel like more information will come out in the coming days, because it's not like we were like, oh yeah, they're probably going to make a change with the whole post-production of Rampage, etc.
I always thought they, broadly as well, post-production wise, the video packages and stuff are decent enough, right? They're good. But their live TV, sometimes the camera cuts away from the action a little bit. Sometimes, it does look a little washed out on. If you look at WWE looks like a bright kaleidoscope of colors and everything. Don't get me wrong, I don't like WWE production at all. But just
almost too clean sometimes.
Yeah, to me, it's overproduced. It's like when your favorite band signs to a major label and starts churning out poppy rubbish. It's not for me, but a lot of people love it because it feels big time and all of that, which is fair.
And at least you can always hear the backstage promos.
Yeah, there's rarely any botches production-wise and all of that. To me, New Japan, the gold standard in this regard. But hey, production. Let us know what you think of production. Just talk about AEW, I don't know.
Yeah, let's just keep an eye on this as things go forward. But more issues coming out from AEW overnight as well, because Jeff Hardy has been on this guy Matt Hardy. I don't know if he
never heard of
friends or what. The Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, his brother's podcast, and he's talking about. Well, I'll just read what he says, in fact, in terms of being backstage in AEW. He said, when I first came back...
Just speak normally.
When I first came back... I can't do Jeff Hardy. When I first came back...
No, you can. It's too good is the problem. It would kill me.
When I first came back, it was pretty exciting. I didn't know what was going to be happening in the near future. The last time I was in this extreme dimension of your podcast, I said in WWE I felt like I was a ghost just walking around backstage. Honestly, I kind of still feel like that at AEW just because not being involved in something cool. I feel like there's something so special that we have within us to bring out, and that brings me to things with ego. Honestly, I'm in a place in my life where wearing this Jeff Hardy shirt, I feel like a goofy goober for wearing my own shirt. Why does this feel so goofy to wear my own shirt? So yeah, he's feeling disassociated with the product or underutilized, maybe.
Yeah, seems that way. This comes after Matt on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy.
Surprise,
funnily
surprise.
enough, had said similar, saying he felt a bit frustrated with how the Hardys had been used and stuff like that. So it's a difficult one to analyze because like wrestlers are always they know their worth and they know their place and all of this stuff, and I'd never like. Unless it's like Ryback, who is an idiot.
Tired now, of course.
Yeah. Big news. I would never want to sit here and go, shut up, guys. At the same time, as a viewer, I think I'm kind of okay with what I get from the Hardys at the moment. They're not what they used to be, right? Their physical declines have been pretty stark.
Yes.
I think it's fair to say. And look,
I saw Matt Hardy trying to do that Daniel Garcia dance as well.
It's like you cannot move your lower back, Chief.
That weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah. It's not a bad comparison. And it's not my place to say you shouldn't be on TV or any nonsense like that, and I would never do that unless it was someone like Ryback. But I think I get enough of the Hardys in their current role. If you have more nostalgia for them, and look, I have a lot. They were part of my favorite era of WWE, that era of tag wrestling in the early 2000s, where it was just crazy matches. But those crazy matches have clearly caught up with them.
Yeah.
They're not the Hardys of yore. Could you do a little bit more with them, like nostalgically? Probably. But I'm not pining for it.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, like you say, love the Hardys, grew up on them, think they're absolute legends. I think they obviously still have a lot to offer. The Birner, one of my favourite WrestleMania returns ever, them returning at 33?
33.
Yeah. But I also understand why their appearances on AEW divide opinion, because you've got so much talent there that you're like, do we really need to see this nostalgia act right now? I feel like they kind of were underutilized when they reunited in AEW. I felt like you could have done more initially straight out the gate with them, or at least build to a big reunion or whatever, or not have Jeff Hardy dance while his brother's getting his head caved in.
That was funny, though. Was that not worth the laugh?
But you know, they come with a great deal of baggage, and I don't think they help their case by complaining about stuff on social media and on podcasts and what have you. So I can see, like you say, I can understand why people are nostalgic. You know, if I was going to an AEW show and it was like, I've never seen the Hardys wrestle, that would be cool to see, yes. Yeah. But also at the same time, you know, I want people like Powerhouse Hobbs to get a spotlight. I want the women in AEW to get more of a spotlight. So I can understand why for them, they're like, oh man, I could offer this company so much more. But I also can understand the other side of it, of Tony Khan being like, we've got so much young talent, we've got Japanese talent, we've got, you know, et cetera, that take priority here.
And it's like, another slight aspect of this, I'm aware we've spoken about it for ages, but like, if you go back to the big Young Bucks match on pay-per-view, it was kind of rubbish.
Yeah,
like,
it's a letdown.
Can they fill that kind of nostalgia role even, like, in big spots like that? Because theoretically, like, the Hardy Boys putting over, like, I don't know, Top Flight or whatever, that's theoretically good business, but are they able to do what they used to make it mean something?
Yeah.
I don't know. Let us know in the comments.
We haven't got any questions, of course. It's the afternoon. If you want to see our Twitter questions, they're on this morning's news. But I did want to ask you, Andy, who's your favourite ghost?
Casper.
Casper?
Obviously.
He's up there for me.
Or Stinky.
Mine is probably the Ghost of Christmas Past from the Muppets Christmas Carol.
Which one's he?
Come in and know me better, man.
Okay, good.
Wait, no, that's the creepy girls, the Ghost of Christmas Past. He's the Ghost of Christmas Present. That's the ginger one.
Yeah, the big jolly giant.
That's the one.
Yeah, because the Ghost of Christmas Future is terrifying.
Yeah, and the girl, the past one. Come with me, Scrooge.
Hell no.
Get away from me, you creep.
But the Muppets Christmas Carol coming back around is good. It's like Mariah Carey, the Michael brothers here are just scooping up the royalties at Christmas for their role as Marley and Marley. It's sensational stuff. That's why you don't see them on camera so much anymore. They're too rich. Every single time.
Someone please Photoshop their heads on them.
I watch that scene every single year.
Yeah.
Every single time. I go, we're Michael and Michael. Ooh. terrible banter.
Yeah. They're not half bad, the Dudleys. They're all bad!
Let's talk about Grayson Waller.
Oh, yeah.
Again. Yeah, so you might have seen this. I was actually going to put this in yesterday's video, but all we had to go by was some person on Reddit going, this happened, and there was nothing else.
Yeah.
There's a video of it now, so we're going to talk about it. Grayson Waller, a fan jumped the guardrail and tried to get at him at a house show this weekend.
Who does that in 2023?
I know. It's in Newark, Delaware, on the 3rd, so Sunday. There's footage of this. It's been doing the rounds. It was shared by the Spotlight News. They don't have actual footage of him, like, coming over the barricades because, like, you would start filming after, wouldn't you? You'd be like, oh, wow, what's going on?
Yeah, no one goes to a wrestling show and goes, let's film that side.
Yeah, in case something happens. But the guy's struggling. Like, a security guard apprehends him as Waller and Austin Theory kind of go around the outside. He gets kind of put over the barricade, and then another member of the security team grabs them and seemingly takes them away. So, no word on what Waller or Theory said to this guy to incite this. It clearly worked, whatever it was.
They're very effective heels, aren't they, those two?
Yeah. And it's
Waller took it well, I suppose.
Yeah, he tweeted about it. He tweeted about it, saying this is what happens when idiot Americans try to get in a battle of wit with an Aussie. So, hey, that's pretty funny. But yeah, like the usual stuff applies here.
Yes.
Behave yourself. Just behave yourself.
Yeah, obviously, you know, we've seen it sporadic instances over the last few years, but I just can't countenance any of this. Like, to a certain extent, we talk about problems within wrestling of like, do people actually hate Roman Reigns? Or are they just like, oh no, he's cool and he's a bad guy, and I'll boo him for this, and you know what characterizes heat and heels and what have you in 2023? But it like, don't jump a barrier. It's not going to end well. What's the best case scenario?
This
Well,
is
yeah,
the best case scenario.
Yeah, I meant for the fan, but yeah, that is the best case scenario. But yeah, no matter, well, not no matter, but to a certain extent, these wrestlers shouldn't have to fear for their own safety when they do these shows.
I mean, like, look at the Jacob Fatu one from years ago where he just whacks the guy. There's another one.
Oh my god! Yeah!
Bang!
What are you doing?
There's another one with LA Park. Where a guy like tries to tug at his mask. I think it is. I've got it on Twitter, and he just turns around and goes boom.
Yeah.
Like, just don't mess with wrestlers, man. It's really simple.
I know that going into the crowd has become a lot more normalised in recent years. That does not give you any.
Yeah, just don't touch them
unless they say to you, "Hey, pass me your drink so I can throw it at this other wrestler."
Don't get me wrong, I love the heat. I love the heat. Just control yourself a little bit. Don't make it about you. Don't try and get physical with the wrestlers. Do you think it was maybe a Taylor Swift fan? Do you think it was a Swiftie?
Probably.
What do you say? Like, she's a Six or...
That's a good point. I didn't even think of that
something like that.
Of it.
Yeah, it might have been. Might have been. Check the T-shirt. Did it have, like, bad blood or something on it? What's another Taylor Swift?
Look what you made me do.
There you go. There you go. It's a love story.
Yeah.
Ba, 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 ba.
I don't know about you, but he's going to be taking 22 days in the local jail for jumping the barrier.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Taylor Swift, Eras Tour. Second most successful tour of all time. Made her a billionaire after, of course, the Dudley Boys on tour. There you go.
Right.
This is a pile of rubbish.
Yeah, after news is you get what you...
I have
the professionalism happens on the morning news, of course.
Yeah, oh yeah, we're just... Yeah.
Randy Orton. He's set for a big angle on WWE SmackDown. Obviously had his big return at Survivor Series, slightly overshadowed by CM Punk. Look at the size of his arms, though. He committed his future on Friday to SmackDown, which makes a lot of sense. And now apparently Fightful Select are reporting, big plans for him going forward. You sense involved in bloodline stuff. That was kind of the thing that swung it. You had Postman Pierce from Raw saying, I'll give you a World Heavyweight Championship match. And Nick Aldis saying, you can get your hands on the guys that took you out for 18 months or whatever it is. And the interesting thing as well to note here is that Michael Hayes produced Orton segments on Raw and SmackDown in the last week, which is notable, obviously, because he does a lot, everything related to Roman Reigns' group. So you can assume Roman Reigns potentially versus Randy Orton, maybe even at the Rumble going forward. I like that as a pitch in terms of it's one of those matches where you don't think Roman's going to drop the title, but it's also not just some guy who's jumped the barrier versus Roman, and you'd have no confidence in this whatsoever. It's a good story going forward.
Yeah, it is, and it makes sense. Logical pieces to the puzzle falling into place. Also, you can have him do this beef, and then you can have Cody do separate things, and then when Cody beats Roman, and after Randy Orton's already had the beef with Roman and failed to take the title from him, presumably, because why would you do that? You could do their stuff after WrestleMania. It fits together really well. So this is all good, and I have nothing else to say. It's just good.
Yeah, let us know where you'd like the Roman Randy match to take place, what match you'd like to see, or would you like to see him run through the bloodline? I mean, he's already RKO'd Jimmy Uso, so I suppose he's done the easy part so far. But yeah, look, I'm astonished about how excited I am to see Randy Orton in WWE compared to how much I was in recent years. So they've done a hell of a job with this. Very excited to see where this goes next.
And just like Randy Orton, you should next put this video in a headlock.
Click on this video out of nowhere.
Yeah, we suck.